Hello everyone and welcome back to another Yin Yoga class. Today we're going to focus on the back, helping to alleviate any stiffness or aches and pains from your lower back and your spine. This is a beginner-friendly routine and no props are needed, but as always it can be nice to have a cushion or a pillow nearby just in case you do require it for some of these poses. So we're going to start in child's pose today. You can bring your knees onto your yoga mat. Sit back on your heels if you can, and if you can't, don't worry too much. That's where you can have a cushion in underneath. Because we're focusing on our back, you might keep your knees together. Again, don't worry if they don't come totally together. You can just have them whatever distance apart works best for you. If your forehead can make it to the yoga mat, go ahead and bring it down in front of you. And if it doesn't, you can just have your hands in underneath. If you don't need your hands in underneath your forehead, you can bring them back to rest next to your feet, having your palms facing up. We'll spend the first minute of our practice here in child's pose. Maybe starting to feel that gentle opening of your spine. Each breath creates a little bit of space in between the vertebrae. And each exhale helps to release tension from your entire spine. One more big breath in. And one more big breath out. Now your hands can slowly creep towards the top of your yoga mat. Stretching the shoulders and the arms out for a moment as you reach for the front of your mat. And then we'll slowly start to walk both hands and your head and shoulders over towards the left side of your mat. Just going as far as feels comfortable for you. Gently dropping your head back down. It might not make it to the mat this time, and that's okay. And we're just starting to feel that opening all through the right side of your torso. This time inhaling to create space between your ribs. Exhaling to release that tension. Hands can walk all the way over to the right side of the mat this time. Once again, lowering your head and tuning into the left side of your body now. And as you're ready, hands can come back to center. Use a breath in to pull yourself back up, coming towards tabletop pose into or onto all fours. So you have your fingers spread nice and wide apart, wrists are below the shoulders, and knees are below the hips. we're going to release the spine with a few rounds of cat and cow. So push yourself away from the floor. Bring your belly button slightly in towards your spine. Inhale to point your tailbone up. Drop your belly down. Bring your chest forward and look up, arching your back. With an exhale, point your tailbone down. Round your spine this time. Tuck your chin to your chest and drop your head. Inhale to come back up, tailbone pointing back up, eyes finding the sky. And then exhale, round it down, chin to chest. And keep going 1 or 2 more rounds at your own pace. Finding those little pockets of tension within your back and just using the pose to release them. And the next time you're in center, you can pause, finding that tabletop position again. Bring your hips over towards the left and look back over your left shoulder. And then hips can come to the right and look back over your right shoulder. And we'll repeat that movement 1 or 2 more times. And finding center again, moving our focus up into the upper back now, we're going to do a pose called Anahatasana. And this is a really nice opener for your chest as well, helps to soften your heart and creates that really nice stretch in your upper back and your shoulders. So our knees will stay directly under the hips as they are, and the hands will reach towards the front of the mat. And from here, lower only your chest and head down onto the mat in front of you. Just being conscious not to shift your hips too much, trying to keep them over the knees. Now, if this feels too intense, you can take a bend into your elbows. Feel free to bring your hands back as close to your body as they need to be. We'll be staying here for 2 minutes in total. Find your breath. Notice how it feels different within your body now from when we were in child's pose. Find what part of your body is catching your breath as it breathes in. If you start to feel any tingling or numbness within your hands, just make sure to bring them back closer to your body. We do want to avoid that sensation. And just know that it's totally normal if you're starting to think. It is a human trait, and I presume we're all human here watching this video. But what is important is just that you can notice that you're thinking. And once you have noticed, just bring your awareness back to your breath. And when you're ready to come out of the pose, you can very slowly bring yourself back into child's pose. Just asking the hips to sit back on the heels again. Maybe bringing the knees back together. And then hands either resting underneath your forehead or they can come back next to your feet. Just observing the rebound of the pose, finding stillness, finding your breath, and just feeling your spine start to click back into place as it rounds over your body. When you're ready to come back, you can slowly peel yourself away from your mat. You can remove your feet from underneath yourself and just come to sit whatever way feels best on the mat. Taking another brief moment here just to feel whatever you feel. You might take this opportunity to release your neck by gently dropping your left ear towards your left shoulder. Breathe into the right side of your neck. And then drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. And breathe in and out from the muscle and tendon in the left side of your neck. We'll bring the head back to center and set ourselves up for our next pose, which is a folded butterfly pose. We'll be sitting on the mat for this one, so again you can sit on a cushion if that will make this pose a little bit more accessible to you. And then we're bringing the soles of our feet together. The further away you have your feet from you, the less intense this will be. So you can choose a distance which works for you. Knees are just here. We don't have to worry about them. Don't try force them down or do anything with them. They're fine as they are. We want to make sure that we're sitting on our seat bones. So take a moment just to make sure that your pelvis is rotated forwards. And then when you're ready, you can just drape your back over your body, rounding forward and allowing your nose to come towards the feet. But of course, it doesn't really have to. We're just imagining. We'll be here for 3 minutes in total. This is a really nice pose to open up the lower back. You might also feel that stretch all throughout your spine. If your neck and head and your shoulders become heavy, you can always bring your elbows to your legs, create a little hammock or something for your head to rest into. And once you have found an appropriate depth, then find your stillness. Stay there. Don't force anything. With time, your body might invite you to go a little bit deeper into the pose. And if it does, then you might fold a little bit more forward. Maybe drop your nose a little bit deeper. But for now, just focus on your breath. Breathing in and noticing what part of your body is claiming that breath. That's the part that wants it the most. So keep sending it in there. Inhaling to create space. Exhaling to release tension. If your mind has left your body, bring it back now and just focus on 3 more big breath cycles. You can bring your fingers back to the mat and very slowly use them to push yourself away from the floor. Finding that seated position again, or maybe leaning back on your hands. You can bring your knees back together. Feet are about hip width distance apart. And we'll release the pose by gently dropping the knees from side to side. And these windshield wipers are still presenting some opportunities for you to find those pockets of tension and then open them up and get them out of the body. You can pause when your knees are in center and then bring both legs out long in front of you. Coming into caterpillar pose this time, we're going to be targeting the hamstrings a little bit more. Often tight hamstrings can lead to back pain. So we're going to take a few minutes here just to encourage the hamstrings to lengthen and to open up a little bit. So once again, we want to make sure the pelvis is rotating forward. Take a moment just to figure that out. Knees can be bent here as much as they need to, and you can even have the soles of your feet on the mat if you need. And then we're inhaling to lengthen up through our back. Exhale to slowly fold forward, walking the hands ever so slightly away from you, dropping your nose towards your knees. And then trying to keep the legs neutral here, not flopping the feet too much out to the side or into the center. And we'll be here in caterpillar pose for 3 minutes. Feeling that opening within your hamstrings. Still targeting your back and your spine. Breathe in to send your breath all through the length of your spine and then all through the length of both hamstrings. Always resisting the urges to fidget in yin yoga. Just try to stay still. Feel the pose, feel your breath. Observe your thoughts. And each time your mind drifts away from your breath or from your body, just gently bring it back. Taking 3 more breaths here in caterpillar. And then using an inhale to slowly bring yourself back up into that seated position. Doing whatever you need to do here to release caterpillar. It might be some windshield wipers again, or it might just be a moment of stillness. Feeling the rebound of the pose. And before we come down to lie on the mat, we might just take another opportunity for a side body stretch. So you can sit cross-legged, bring your right hand onto the mat to the right, and then do a big rainbow across with your left arm. Reaching that left hand over towards the right side of your room. Big stretch for your left side body. And as we release, we'll set ourselves up to repeat on the opposite side. And when you're ready, you can let go. Let's come down to lie on the mat for our final yin yoga pose, which is a reclined twist. So just slowly roll your spine back to the earth. You can rest for a moment in whatever way feels natural, just letting your spine to click into place once again in this new position. And from here, bring both knees slowly up into your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs and give yourself a little hug. A really big thank you for showing up and for making it onto your yoga mat. With this gentle squeeze, just releasing any drops of tension from your lower back. Now, keeping the knees to the chest, we'll bring the arms out wide left to right. Palms are facing down and they're gently pressing into the floor. Peel your tailbone off of the mat and slowly drop both knees over towards the left. Now you might be able to lift your hips and stack them on top of each other so your right hip is over the left. Make sure both of your shoulders stay on the mat, especially this right shoulder. And you can find what position works best for your knees. You might want to bring them up a little bit closer to your chest, or you might prefer to have them down further away from you. To go deeper into the twist, you can look over towards the right. And we're going to be here for 2 minutes, just letting gravity gently twist your torso. Once again, squeezing out any last little droplets of tension. As you connect to your breath, observe how it feels different in this twisted position. And keep aiming to send your inhalation all the way down to the tip of your tailbone. Each exhalation empties the entire body. We'll prepare to bring ourselves very slowly back to center. Pausing when you're there, observing the difference between the two sides of the body. And giving that reclined twist a moment to echo throughout your body. Once again, we'll bring the knees up towards the chest, finding that big hug for yourself. This time we'll bring the arms out left to right again. Gently press the palms down and drop both knees to the right. Lifting and stacking the hips if that feels good for you. Finding your version of reclined twist. Maybe looking to the left if you want to go deeper. Find your breath. Find all those little spinal twists. And we'll stay here for 2 minutes. When you're ready, you can come back to center. Moving super slowly. Releasing any ahs or big breaths if you need to. And you can release the pose however you feel called to do. You might do some windshield wipers, or you can have your feet mat width distance apart, allowing your knees to rest against each other. Feeling the rebound of all of the poses that we've practiced in this routine. There's no rush to do so. You're welcome to stay here for as long as you can. But if you are ready, you can come back up into a seat on your mat. And once you've found that comfortable position, you might just close your eyes for a moment. Find your breath and feel whatever you're feeling. Noticing if there's any differences between how you felt when you started this routine and how you feel now. Let's take 3 more big breaths together, breathing in to fill your entire body with air. Breathing out to release any leftover tension. When you're ready, you can open up the eyes again. So thank you so much for joining me for this routine. I hope you found some benefit in it. I would love to hear your feedback and your thoughts in the comments below. If you did enjoy this routine, I would be really grateful if you could leave it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to my channel, because I'd love to practice again in the future, and your likes and subscriptions really do help to support me in making more of these videos. So I will see you in another yin yoga routine soon, but until then, take good care of yourself and goodbye.